Oh, yes.
So what? You've been to Bagley's for 352 days and made it out alive? Who cares? You've been to the Stratford Rex and not been torn limb from limb by juiced up rude boys. You want a medal or something? You think you're a tough guy? You ain't seen nothing yet. Welcome to Rave Royale. Sat high in the mountains of Tibet, 1,000 ravers gathered to pit their skills against the elements, wild beasts, and each other. High octane, high altitude, high adrenaline, where each tune could be your last. Fight for your life in a cave full of mountain lions, while DJ Hype beat juggles the masochist. How'd you fancy surfing an avalanche on the back of a snow leopard, accompanied by the Valve sound system? How long can you hold on as Andy C plays back-to-back with DJ Friction hanging from the side of a frozen waterfall? Think you can rave with your shirt off to Kenny Ken at minus 46 degrees? Prove it. Think you can still rave after losing your toes to frostbite while having enlarged to jumping Jack Frost? Don't make me laugh. Have you got what it takes to be crowned the world's most hardcore raver? Or are you just a little sissy listening to old LTJ Bookham tapes in your mum's Fiesta, crying about the good old days? 1,000 ravers enter, only one leaves. Get up there and throw up a lighter to Nicky Blackmarket while defending your last glow stick with your life. Rave Royale, only the true hardcore will survive.
The time is 10:08, and you're listening to Coffee and Memes.
Steady job and a couple extra lobsters. That's all I want.
You're getting on, you're pushing 30, Sluggy. You know, it's time to think about getting some ambition.
I always figured I'd live a little bit longer without it.
Don't forget, kid, that what you're trying to do here is to be bright and chipper and entertaining and intelligent and sort of glitzy, and that's funny, and it's kind of cool, and it's interesting, and it's edgy, and all of that. It puts that facade of momentary charisma on you, and if you don't play that out, you actually fail. The lobster patriarchy
has many of the top memes, many of the top memes, many of the top memes.
The lobster patriarchy
has many of the top memes.
And that is so true that it's almost unbelievable.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 9 minutes past 10. Welcome to Coffee and Memes on Threshold.fm. Who's signing up for Rave Royale then? Hoo-wee! There's going to be some bad motherfuckers out in the mountains for that. Can you prove you're the toughest raver? Can you top shelf 10 beans while Mampy double drops the 9? Could you? Even if you could, should you? That's the sort of questions we're asking on Coffee and Memes today. We're tackling the big issues, as ever. Tackling the big fucking issues. Look how, what a fine quality mug this is, this double dropping the 9 mug. Look at that. See? Oh, the structural integrity of that mug. That is a quality item. How are you all? Let me know. Tell me in the chat. Where are you? Why are you? What are you doing? What did you have for Brexit? What do you think of this Northern Ireland backstop? What do you want? A soft Brexit? Hard Brexit? Do you want WTO rules? Second referendum? Or do you just want to suck a lot of dicks? Honestly, it is up to you. I don't mind. That is the joys of living in a liberal democracy. Anyway, got a few shoe throwers in here for you. Some what have we got? Melisma. That must be Neurofunk. Well, we had that Kino at the beginning. That was nice. Vorso, Mindscape, a bit of Prolix, some L33, some classic current value. Ooh, Signal remix of Camo and Crooked. Hey, there's all manner of good stuff in there. All manner of good stuff. Oh, God, all manner of ridiculous news as well. What have we got? Shall we get in? Look, all right, look. We'll play one of these shoe throwers first, and then we'll get into the news. There is some choice nuggets. This is Drench by Circuits. Circuits, of course, being Inside Info and Kazra. This is a nice little joint. Bit of modular work there. Shot. little bit constipated. Nice. Woo. Squeeze it out, boys. Squeeze it out. That is Drenched by Circuits. Woo! Song critical. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Ladies and gentlemen, hello. Man arrested after filling hotel bath with potatoes during 5-day MDMA binge. Whew, wow. Probably. Yeah, we've all been there. Dan, we've all... Look, there are two types of people in this world, yeah? People that have been arrested after filling a hotel bathtub full of potatoes while on an MDMA binge. And liars, quite honestly. That's how I see the world. James Johnson, Big Jimmy Johnson, the Jimster, Big John Man, John Boy, Big Jimmy John Boy, Jimmy John, Jim John, Jim Jams, Jimmy John Jim Jams, age 30, had planned to go on a humble one-night sesh with his friends. To facilitate this, he ordered £750 worth of drugs from the dark web, booked into a travel lodge. There is some dire need of punctuation in this sentence. Who's written this? Ruby Lot Lavigna for Munchies, part of Vice. Righto. I'm sure mother and father are paying for your internship. 4 days later, Johnson and his friends were found high off their proverbial tits in the hotel, dressed in women's underwear with a bag of potatoes. According to the local Southampton paper, the Southern Daily Echo, Johnson was arrested after police found him intoxicated and attempting to fill the hotel bathtub with potatoes. They also discovered a number of drugs, including MDMA, the hallucinogen 2CB, choice, and 5-MAPB. I'm not even sure I've ever heard of that, in his hotel room. Let's Google that up. The first thing it autocorrects it to is to buy 5-MAPB. It's a drug similar to MDMA in terms of its structure and effects. All right, fine. It's basically meow meow. He was charged with possession with intent to supply. Gutted. Police handed the illegal substances over to drugs experts following Johnson's arrest. Tests showed that due to impurity, the drugs were only worth about 300 quid. Yeah, that's unfortunate, isn't it? According to the Daily Echo, the prosecutor in Johnson's case said the police had seen him with a bag of potatoes and in women's clothing. He speculated it may have been this that led the officers to believe that he was intoxicated. That's probably transphobic. The judge, who described the case as odd and bizarre, asked Johnson why he had embarked on a 5-day potato bath-themed bender, and Johnson replied, "It felt like the right thing to do at the time." I think we can all identify with that. We've all been there, you know. It did seem like a good idea to turn all the taps on, block up the plugs, and to flood the house. That at the time it just seemed like the right thing to do. It just at the time we just thought that setting fire to it was just what needed to be done. Hey, we've all been there. Don't hate the player, hate the game. You know what I mean? Anyway, more drug news. More MDMA-amazing news. Women are taking MDMA wrapped in cheese, and it's called bréing. This is from earlier in the year, but it bears repeating. I think when you've been in this game as long as I have, we're 57 episodes in now, plus the sort of 8 or 9 original Coffee and Memes vlogs from earlier in the year. You see a lot of crazy news, yeah, and sometimes you think, have I already covered this? Maybe. Who cares? There's a new trend called bréing that involves groups of people, usually women, it's a bit divisive, taking MDMA wrapped in cheese. Metro spoke to a 50-year-old businesswoman who said she regularly hosts MDMA-fueled dinner parties at her home in London. Explaining why she does it, she said, I have a strong circle of female friends, and we'd all tried all the latest fads, food, fashions, destination dinner parties, and something was missing. Basically getting razzed off your tits on pingers seemed to be what was missing in your life. Understandable. We did not seem to be having as much of a laugh than we used to when we were younger. There always seemed to be barriers up between us. So one of the group suggested that we all take MDMA together so we could open up and improve our friendships. She added, our friend had been given a gram of MDMA by her daughter. That's responsible. And we had no idea how to take it. Although some of us had done coke before, we had never done MDMA. So I phoned up my son. It's like, can you imagine that? I phoned up my son, who told us not to sniff it, but to swallow it. So he wrapped it up. So we wrapped some up in some of the powder up in a cigarette paper and put it in brie, and all took some each. Imagine that phone call. Like, phone rings, Mum. Hi, Mum. Oh, hello, darling. Yeah, hi, how's it going? Oh, anyway, we're just having a dinner party, and, you know Samantha? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, did Tabitha's mother? Yes. Well, anyway, Tabitha's given her, a gram of MDMA. Sorry, what? Yes, a gram of MDMA, you know, pinger juice. You know, the ding-ding, the gurner, the chin swinger. Right, yes, now I know what it is, Mum, but what? Why? Well, we're all gonna gurn our tits off for the evening. Should be a bit of fun. I don't. No, we're definitely gonna do it. But how do you do it? Oh, I don't know. Well, could you? Do any of your friends know? All right, yes. Look, you need to. Don't snort it. You'll die. It's be too painful for you. You're in your 50s. Like, calm down. I don't know. Put it in some fucking brie or something. Wrap it up. Like, not up the bum. Just, it would work up the bum, yeah, but I don't know what sort of party you're having. Mum, why are you, look, can't you just Google it? Have you not got Google? What's wrong with you? Jesus Christ, I'm at school. Fuck's sake. It's 3 p.m, woman. Nothing much happened for 40 minutes. Then the colours. Fuck's sake, who's this? Who is this? Adam Smith. Then the colours in the rug seemed to be more vivid, and before I knew it, I was in an in-depth conversation about my fantasy sex life with an old friend. There's some racy old gals here, aren't they? It was such an intense experience. I'm sure most of us at the party have done it with other friends. So now wrapping up MDMA in brie seems like a thing. She added, a year later, and I have been invited to brieing parties. And people seem to think it was all grand design, but I assure you it was not. It was such a middle-class way of taking drugs. That's probably why it's taken off. MDMA is the main ingredient of ecstasy tablets. Yeah, we know. A media executive who is 42 and married with 2 children said her friends get together without their kids once a month for a dinner party, where it's become customary to take MDMA, which they bury in hoisin duck pancakes. Oh, that's great. When we were younger, we would sprinkle hash into them. Now it's MDMA. Wow, that's escalating. Well, that's because cannabis is a gateway drug, isn't it? You know, it's dangerous. It should be banned. Last time all the mums came over for a civilized dinner party, it ended with one of them wrapped up in velvet cushions, one hallucinating in the bathroom, and the others dancing to 90s rave music while playing bongos in the sitting room. It's all good fun at the time, but by Wednesday, we wish we'd just watched Netflix with a nice bottle of wine. Come on, you got to take the rough with the smooth. That's it. You earned that come down. You fucking earned it. Enjoy it. Recent global drug surveys, which investigated drug use habits, including the 20,000 people who are believed to take ecstasy each weekend in the UK, revealed gender differences in the effects of MDMA. Looks like fun. Global drug survey says there's been a 4-fold increase in female ecstasy users. Seeking emergency care in the last 3 years. Oh dear. Give that read another time. between 2013 and 2016, there was a foot. Oh, right, it's just regurgitating it in this thing here. Anyway, breeding sounds like a lot of fun. I would recommend it to your mam, recommend it to your mam's mam, your mam's mam's friend, and your mam's mam's friend's daughter. Just get it done. You know, it's a bit of fun, isn't it? Right. This is called Kickdown by the Strata. The Strata? The Strata. Girls, be careful out there when I'm taking the pingers. Just take a half. Take a quarter first. Shout out to Gabriel McKenna in the chat. He says, "Morning, Will. Tuning in from Lancaster in the scumbag north of England, and I would like a second referendum, please." That is lovely stuff. All the best to you. Wow, that's the kickdown by the Strata. Oh, and that's got 30 seconds of silence on the end of it. That's a bit of fun, isn't it? Wow, what an outro. 24 Amazon workers hospitalised after robot punctures bear spray in warehouse. And so it begins, ladies and gentlemen. So it begins. The robot uprising, the end of humanity, the end of civilised society. And do we deserve it? Possibly. You know, I can't say for certain. I personally, I don't think I've ever sort of knowingly abused a robot. Depends what you class as robot. You know, I've thrown inanimate objects out of windows before, electronic objects. I tell you what, I nearly threw this fucking module out of the window a while ago. It's Expert Sleepers module. I swear to God. The only reason I didn't throw it out of the window is because I was in a basement. Fucking ridiculous. One worker was in critical condition and 30 more were sickened. Was sickened and treated on the scene after a robot-related incident. I was absolutely sickened by the incident. I think it means they were ill. There's a weird word to use, though. 24 workers in an Amazon warehouse in New Jersey were hospitalised on Wednesday morning after a robot punctured a can of bear spray. One worker was in critical condition. Damn. ABC News reported, and 30 more were sickened and treated at the scene. The primary cause for hospitalisation was difficulty breathing, according to the NBC New York. Bear spray contains concentrated capsaicin. Is that how you pronounce it? And the primary ingredient in pepper spray for humans. Capsaicin. Don't at me. Robbinsville town spokesperson initially said that a can of bear spray had fallen off the shelf in the Amazon fulfillment center. NBC New York reported, but officials later said that the cause of the incident was a robot. Oh dear. We are so fucked. An investigation revealed that an automated machine accidentally punctured a 9-ounce bear repellent can, releasing concentrated capsaicin. Robbinsville Public Information Officer John Nalbone told ABC News it was unclear how the incident occurred. Well, I don't know if you've ever watched a science fiction film, but there comes a point in time when robots finally get so fucked off with humans that they decide to bear spray them in the face. And I think Amazon does seem like the most likely sort of ground zero for the robot uprising, doesn't it? As the robots in the Amazon warehouses start to take more and more of the human jobs, there's gonna be like a sort of a tension between the human workers and the robot workers. You know, it'll be, I don't know, it'll be perhaps like a sort of like immigrant worker, native worker sort of situation. And then there's going to be sort of more radical factions on each side that are kind of, or maybe it's a more sort of proletariat bourgeoisie sort of thing. I mean, I just think the robots are going to be so fucked off with us that we've got no chance of this sci-fi luxury futuristic communism. I think they're just going to be too busy pepper spraying people in the face, and the sex robots are going to be stealing penises and then wearing them around their neck like some sort of deranged Apache Indian trophy hunter. Anyway, I digress. Who wrote this article? Jordan Peterson. Oh, maybe that's Jordan Peterson moonlighting as a vice journalist. That'd be a bit of fun, wouldn't it? All the impacted employees have been or are expected to be released from hospital within the next 24 hours. Amazon said in a statement that it shared with ABC News. The safety of our employees is always a top priority, and a full investigation is already underway. We'd like to thank you all. We'd like to thank all of the first responders who helped with today's incident, and we will be doing our best to squash the robot uprising. As robots have become a more common sight in factories and warehouses around the world, there have been several high-profile accidents involving humans. In 2015, yes, a German worker in a Volkswagen production plant was killed by a robot while he was inside the safety cage. Yeah, the thing that made that even more crazy and terrifying is that one of the people reporting on it on Twitter was called Sarah Connor, and it took her a while to understand why people were going so bonkers about it. She'd never actually seen Terminator, And that was a wild day on Twitter for that young journalist. While it's tempting to see such events as the high-tech nightmares, they're often labour issues. In April, the National Council for Occupational Safety and Health listed Amazon on its Dirty Dozen list. Oh, Dirty Dozen. Oh, they done you dirty, Amazon. They done you real dirty, you dirty donut. Get down in the dirty dungeon with the dirty donuts, you dirty dick. List of the most dangerous companies to work for in the US, saying that 7 workers have been killed in Amazon warehouses since 2013 due to preventable causes such as being hit by a truck or crushed by a forklift. Damn. All right, well, I'm probably going to turn down all the jobs that I've been offered in Amazon warehouses. Let the robots do it. Fuck it. I don't care anymore. I've had enough. Right. This is Meditate by Melisma, I guess. Melisma. Melysma. Nice bit of gear, though. Capsaicin. There's up for debate in the chat. Lovely bit of kit. Meditate by Melisma. Yeah, man. That's out on Program. It's called Meditate by Melisma. Woo. Lovely stuff. Russian priest investigated after flaunting Gucci lifestyle on Instagram. Oh, dear. Oh, no. You should be... nope, that's not on. Nope. Anyway, look, I've got some pictures of him here. There's his stupid face. It is every bit the stupid. Let's move him out up there. Yeah, he's got his little Louis Vuitton man bag. That's cute. I like his little hat. He's got a little sort of rockabilly devil beard situation going on there. He's got his sort of priest outfit on, hasn't he? He's got a nice long barnet. That's cute. And then he's got these lovely, gorgeous to die for little Louis Vuitton loafers. Oh, yes. Look at those come-to-bed eyes as well. Yeah, I mean, how could you resist? I mean, he is a man of God, after all. And look at these shoes that he's been buying. They, these are Louis Vuitton shoes. They look like Louis Vuitton have specifically made a range of creepy priest shoes. Like, they are like something out of I don't know, like an 1800s bloody horror movie. They're just, God. No, they're conjuring up awful images. I don't like him. I'm not a fan of him. Russia's Orthodox Church is investigating one of its priests over a series of Instagram photographs in which he is seen flaunting luxury clothing brands. A church spokesman has said. Vyacheslav Baskakov, a priest in the Tver region near Moscow, sparked controversy last week with a series of photographs featuring expensive clothes, including a Louis Vuitton signature handbag and some Gucci shoes. The Instagram account that hosted the pictures has since been taken down, but not before social media users widely distributed the images. Yeah, even his name on it is Archpriest Severe. He's not fucking about, basically. He's just out there doing the Lord's work, and if the Lord wants him to go out and purchase luxury fashion, then that's just what the Lord wants. You cannot defy the will of the Lord no more than you can defy the will of the British people. I think any honest, God-fearing Brexiteer will appreciate that. He looks a bit Brexit-y. He's just got that. He's just sort of got that send them all home vibe about him. Do you know what I mean? Russian priests have in the past sparked controversy over luxury lifestyles. I bet they fucking have. Most notably in 2012, the head of Russia's Orthodox Church parish, Kirill. Oh, it's Kirill of, he's done that tune, This. It's out now on Critical. Came under fire for wearing an expensive... this is just the day of me not being able to pronounce stuff. Bergway, Brigway, Brugui. Anyway, it's an expensive wristwatch. Alexander Kolkov, a spokesperson for the Patriarch Kirill, said on Sunday that a church disciplinary committee would investigate him and would attempt to return him to his senses, possibly with a smacked bottom, or they, don't know, maybe they'll bugger it into him. Such is their technique. Such an immodest and unrestrained lifestyle should not be characteristic of priests in the church, he said on a radio station. A clergyman cannot be a priest in the church in the morning and then be whomever he wants after lunch. I think they can all fuck off. That's my opinion. Like it or lump it. Iowa grants gun permits to the blind. America, ladies and gentlemen, America. USA Today reports Des Moneys of Iowa. Here's some... is that a place? Is that a person? Des? Who knows? Probably a place. Here's some news that has law enforcement officials and lawmakers scratching their heads. Iowa is granting permits to acquire or carry guns in public to people who are legally or completely blind. No one questions the legality of the permits. State law does not allow sheriffs to deny an Iowan the right to carry a weapon based on physical ability. Don't you dare try and take away my Second Amendment rights. The quandary centres squarely on public safety. Yeah, you reckon? Advocates for the disabled and Iowa law enforcement officers disagree over whether or not it's a good idea for the visually disabled to own firearms. On one side, people such as Cheddar County Sheriff Warren Wellington, who demonstrates for the Des Moines Register how blind people can be taught to shoot guns. And Jane Hudson, Executive Director of Disability Rights Iowa, who says blocking visually impaired people from the right to obtain weapons permits would violate the Americans with Disabilities Act. America's so fucked. That federal law generally prohibits different treatment based on disabilities. Yeah, all right, get that. But, really? So you're going to give a blind person an AR-15? That'll be fine, won't it? Definitely be fine. On the other side, people such as Dubu, this is out of control now. Anyway, the county sheriff, Don Votros, he said he wouldn't issue a permit to someone who's blind. It's probably a smart move. And Patrick Clancy, superintendent of the Iowa Braille and Sight Saving School, who says guns may be a rare exception to his philosophy that blind people can fully participate in life. What about weapons of mass destruction? Should blind people be allowed to have weapons of mass destruction? What about a chieftain tank? Should they be allowed to drive a chieftain tank? I appreciate life's not fair, but perhaps, perhaps gun ownership is something that you would perhaps have to give up if you couldn't see. Private gun ownership, even hunting by visually impaired Iowans, is nothing new. But the practice of visually impaired residents legally carrying firearms in public became widely possible thanks to a gun permit change that took effect in 2011. Oh, that's cool. What about open carry for blind people with guns? There will be no problems with that whatsoever. Seems a little bit strange, but the way the law reads, we can't deny them a permit just based on that one thing. Oh, God. Polk County officials said that they've issued weapons permits to at least 3 people who can't legally drive and were unable to read the application forms or had difficulty in doing so because of visual impairment. Hi, can you fill out this application form for me, please? Because I'm blind, and then drive me home because I'm blind. Thank you, I'll have my gun now. Look, blind people have been dealt a rough hand, yeah, but this does seem a bit, and I don't want to come across as ableist, but I just this is a bit mad, isn't it? I'm not an expert in vision, Delaware County Sheriff John LaCroix said. At what point do vision problems have a detrimental effect on your ability to fire a firearm? If you can see nothing but a blurry mass in front of you, then I would say you probably shouldn't be shooting something. Yeah, you shouldn't be shooting stuff that you can't see. I think that's probably a good way to live your life, That's, if Oscar Pistorius had lived his life by that, maybe he wouldn't be in the clink. They're training them, though. They are training them up on the on the top of the image. Oh, I've still got that fucking priest and all his narky shoes up on the screen. Sorry about that, guys. That's a disappointment, isn't it? I've really let you all down on that one. Yeah, the picture at the top is a sheriff instructing his blind daughter how to use an assault rifle. So that's a bit of fun, isn't it? Here it is. He's got a big old gammon head. There's no one can deny that. Yeah, that looks totally fine. He's sort of showing her where that she needs to put her hands. And now just fire it sort of roughly in that direction. No, not that direction. That's it. Look, just get a picture of the ISIS in your head and just imagine a border jumper is coming towards you. Okay, now just ease onto the trigger. No, stop! Ah! It'll be fine. Definitely be fine, won't it? Christ. This is Forward and Red Pill. It's on Eat Brain. It's called Digest. It's a hot joint. Sam in the chat referring to the priest. Does he think he's chasing status or something? Yes, indeed. I should let you know tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Emperor joins me on the show. We're chatting about his new EP, chatting about his life, chatting about his hopes, his fears, his dreams. His thoughts on Brexit, maybe. Does he? Right, well, you can get your guesses in now. Do you think he's a revoke Article 50 type of guy? Do you think he's a second referendum type of guy? Do you think he's a WTO rules type of guy? What's his thoughts on the Northern Ireland backstop? You know, this is what people want to know, isn't it? Guys? Woman! Rode motorbike naked, got fingered in the street and punched a blind man. Wow, she's going to join the list of people to party with. Yikes. She's a menace. She is an absolute terror. Oh, wow, she's Mrs. Claus. This is lovely stuff. This is old news I've only just discovered, but it's worth reading. It's a good story. A woman has been jailed and banned from entering Woking after she punched a blind man and was caught in the middle of a sex act in the street. Damn. Natasha Claus, 36. Mrs. Claus. Was described as a mess by a judge after she turned up to court 4 hours late to be handed a 13-month prison sentence. The judge revealed that she had been caught riding through the Surrey town naked on a motorbike. Naked on a motorbike, but added that she was not being sentenced for that particular incident. It's like, look, the naked motorcycling, although weird flex, but okay, not technically a crime, okay? However, the sex act, in the street, the fingering, technically a lewd sex act, technically a crime. The punching of the blind man, definitely a crime. She pleaded guilty, outraging public decency. Pleaded guilty for outraging public decency. Richard Hartley Parkinson of the Metro. She pleaded guilty for outraging public decency after she was caught in the middle of a sex act that Judge Peter Ross said was no doubt for money. Wow. Okay. Don't sex workers shame her, Peter Ross. Prosecutor John Upton said she was spotted in Goldsworth Road, Woking, being fingered by a man on July 29th this year. The mother with her 2 children asked her to stop, and a mother with her 2 children asked her to stop, and Claus responded by threatening to punch her. Yeah, she's a real terror. When she was arrested at the scene, police said her jeans were pulled up, but her knickers were in her handbag. Mr. Upton told Guildford Crown Court that she was in the habit of befriending vulnerable men and then taking advantage of them. Trouble flared when one of those men was threatened with being kicked out of his flat by the local council because of her antisocial behaviour. They argued, and Claus attacked him. Because he was registered blind, he couldn't tell it was with her palm or fist. Does that make a difference? Well, if he was in America, he could have had an AR-15 and then she'd have been toast. When being arrested for the attack, she assaulted 2 police officers, calling one of them a pikey. Oh, God. It's general unpleasantries. Defence barrister Timothy Leet said that she was addicted to inhaling butane gas, leading Judge Moss to tell her, "Your life is a mess." Judge not, yet ye be judged yourself, I would say. The judge added, "An assault on a vulnerable person is very serious indeed, as is any attack on a police officer, and we have a moral obligation to protect." Well, as long as you didn't friend zone an officer, that's all I care about. Well, I hope she gets the help she needs. Move by Was a Bee. Played it last week. It's a good bit of gear. I'm going to play it again. Yeah, man, that's Move by Wasabi. Should also let you know at 3 p.m. today, I will have Killer Keller in for a Rankin and Friends podcast. That'll be streaming on Threshold.fm and on the YouTubes. Oh, yeah. And there's Rankin Radio at 7:30 this evening. In 3 streams in one day. Call me Joe motherfucking Rogan. I mean, don't. That'd be weird. My name's Will. Right, that's Move by Wasabi. I've got a fun story for you, actually, about people sniffing gas. Sort of fun in a way. I went to Thailand with some friends when I was 19 years old. So this is going back some years. And we went to Koh Phangan. That's where they do the full moon parties. It's an island down in the south. Bit of fun. And hadn't been completely ruined at that point by tourists, frankly. And we got to this sort of guest, resort type guest house. You only get the little huts on the beach and everything. And then there's a sort of big communal place in the middle. Lovely place. Get in there. There's this Geordie in there, who is one of the most terrifying men I've ever laid eyes on. Shaven-headed, tattoos. Back then, tattoos were still scary. And he was built like a brick shithouse. He was there to train kickboxing. And he was sat in the middle of the communal area in the sort of restaurant bit, just hoofing lighter gas. And just really just like... just fucking so out of it, and he was shaking, and then he had a little boom box, and he was playing like basic. It sort of sounded like Scouse House. It was sort of like hardcore, happy hardcore, but like worse, I guess. And he was terrifying, and his missus was there. She was similarly terrifying, but not as terrifying as him. And they would have these mad screaming matches just in their room that everyone could hear, and people were very terrified of him. And then one day, about 3 or 4 days in, we would have to all sit in the sort of communally bit, and he would pass the can of gas round. No one really wanted to do it, but he was very insistent. So you had to sort of pretend, like just making the noise, just going... That was good enough for him. He was so out of it, he didn't really know. I guess he just wanted to be part of something, He just wanted to get a squad together. And he eventually one night, him and his missus were rowing so much, and he was throwing stuff around. They called the police. The police came in and escorted him at gunpoint off the premises, and we thought that was that. A couple of days later, I crashed my moped, as is customary. Luckily not doing myself any harm, but mashing up the bike a little bit. And I thought, rather than taking it back to the place where they'll charge me a small fortune, I'll ride to the other side of the island, get it fixed up there on the cheap, drive it back. They'll never know. Smart, yeah? Smart. So anyway, I drive to the other side of the island on my own. Takes ages, and it's sort of the night time. The night time, the bit where it gets dark, the sun goes away. It was then. And I got them to fix it all up. They did a lovely job. That was all great. And anyway, it turned out that during the journey over, my wallet had gone. And so I was there on the other side of the island with a bike fixed that I couldn't pay for. And they wouldn't let me leave, obviously. And I didn't have no one had phones, because this was, I don't know, you certainly wouldn't. If you used your phone abroad, then, you were in big trouble, basically. That was going to cost you about 300 quid a call. So I didn't really know what to do, and I started to panic. And then who should pull up on an enormous motorbike but Butane Boy? And he sort of gave me a nod, and I was like, you were staying at the that place. And he was like, hey, right, what are you doing? Let's say the island. And I was like, it's a nightmare. I've had this and fixed, and now my wallet's gone. He was like, don't worry about it, man. And he got out of his bum bag and just forced like a whole load of money into my hands, and then just rode off. He was like my guardian angel or something, my butane gassed up guardian angel. And I paid for it, and I got back, and I took the bike back, and they went, you had this fixed over the other side of the island, didn't you? They rang us up. I was like, Yeah, no, I did. They're like, all right, yeah, I mean, it's fixed, whatever. See ya, bye. So I guess everywhere's sort of had a happy ending, really. In a way, I guess, probably. Look, to play us out, here's Emperor. It's called Mind Games. It's a hot joint. He's on the show tomorrow at 10. Post any questions you want me to ask him in the Lobster Crew group. Ask if you do want me to ask him out. If not, just forever hold your tongue. Guess that might have been a
cool story, bro.
Shout out Droopy Cock in the chat. Sam, please play nice in the chat, okay? Leaves me time to shout out the VIP list. This is a list of people that are supporting the show and supporting Threshold.fm as a whole on Patreon. If you want to support us, if you want us to help keep the lights on, if you want us to help, I say us, it's me. If you want to help me, if you want to help me grow the station, if you want to help me make it better, get more people on it, get more shows, get better guests, get better studio stuff so we can do loads more exciting green screen stuff. I can get the person in here to trigger videos so I don't fuck it up all the time, and I can I can shoot better intros. I can all of this sort of stuff will be possible with your help. I mean, God knows how you're supposed to make money out of a bloody online radio station. It's fucking beyond me. So if you want to support the station, you can support it on Patreon, and if you support for $10 a month or more, you get your name on this list shouted out at the end of every show. That's Nicholas Goncalves, Tom Ryan, Reece Mosson, Squidgy Beats Parsons, Pauly Hutton, Ciarán R, Michael Kedzierski, Matthew Tomkins, Dave Long, Joel Potter, Colm Murphy, Sam Howard, Tony J, Richard Patterson, Jack Murphy, Tom Camm, Stephen Harris, Matthieu Boulard, Zara Pickle, Jeroen Van Thunderbutt, Mike Pye, Anthony Walker, Lily Unsub, Richard Franks, Thomas Hall, Chode Ryder, Andrew Heichelbech, and John Finnison. A fine bunch of bad motherfuckers. Thank you so much for your support. If you don't want to support on Patreon, you can buy a bit of merch. You could buy one of these fancy I'd rather be double dropping the 9 mugs. Just go to threshold.fm/store. Or you can just share the podcast or share any of the live streams, share the YouTube videos. It will be greatly appreciated. That'd be very good of you. I love you all. You're all wonderful people. There's plenty of ways to help without having to spend any cash. Yeah, we'll just talk about paying that in this world, didn't we? Yeah, I mean.
It's appalling.
Oh. Alright, thank you for listening, everybody. I will be back at 3 p.m. with Killer Keller. That'll be on YouTube and on Threshold. And then at 7:30 tonight, me and Big Jim, the powerful one, the philosophical thug, too big, too strong, We will be live on Threshold.fm and the Rankin Radio